Computer. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the boys are back for a action-packed episode. Welcome back to another edition of the Fat Katz Podcast. Ward Sewell here, joined by the big man Cam Taylor, and we not only have a very interesting slate of football, but as you know, me and the big man are both fantasy football fans, fantasy football players, and we're playing against each other. I'm 2-0. My team is called the WCU Kitty Cats. Is it Bam's Baklava, Cam? Did I pronounce that right?
Big Bam's Baklava.
But the Baklavas are also 2-0, and we are both tied for first place in the league. So we're going to be like two rams or two big deer in a rut banging against each other and trying to fight for first place. Cam, what's up, buddy?
That was a pause. Big talk, Diddy. No, I'm super excited to get into it, man. First, a game for outright first place in the Highlands Hooligans League is always an illustrious place to be. Me and Ward haven't been in this situation since junior year of college. Our teams have been
when we played in the championship, and Cam beat me.
So, Ward, I know last year we talked about this. Do we still have the love triangle going on between me, you, and James Fry?
I beat you last year.
Okay, so it's done, and I beat Fry last year, so that's
yeah. Because I don't know if you remember, I came in and I changed my name to the Real Big Dog after I beat you. So whoever wins when we record this on Tuesday next week, whoever wins will have their name, and then in parentheses it's going to say the Real Big Dog, because there's going to be one Real Big Dog on the Fat Katz, and we're going to find out this weekend who it is.
Yeah, that's our bet for this week. But super excited to get into episode 70, Ward. We took a bye week last week. I think we're both just distraught from our college football slate on Saturday. Vegas kicked my ass. The South Carolina Gamecocks kicked Kentucky's ass. And now we're back. Yeah. So, Ward, like always, we got first favorite forgotten. We got top stories. We got full plate empty stomach. A lot of football. This is football time of the year.
You know football's back, baby. And we also got UFC, Cam. UFC 305 is it 305 or 306 this weekend? Yeah. Let's get some UFC to talk about.
Yeah, so if you want baseball, go to a different podcast. We got our college football and NFL previews. Ward, I do want to remind everybody real quick, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. If you know that, or if you're here, you know that. It's a bye week for all of us. Be a friend, tell a friend, like, subscribe, comment. Instagram and TikTok at Fat Katz Pod. Ward, we're going to be kind of quick today. I don't know if people know this. We do have actual jobs, so we got to get back to that pretty quick today.
Boys have a time stop.
But we start off every episode, first favorite and forgotten. Jersey number goes with the episode number. So, Ward, go ahead and kick us off, man.
Let's do it, Cam. So, real quick, you said not a baseball pod. I did go to a Red Sox game in Fenway last week when I was in Boston. If there is 5 sports venues / stadiums in the United States that you have to visit, Fenway Park is one of them. I will say, just a shout, that stadium was awesome. All the history behind it. You know, a lot of people didn't know this, but there's also a football game that's played I don't know if it's every year or every other year. Boston College has played at Fenway. Notre Dame has played at Fenway. Awesome stadium, man. That big green monster that Ted got thrown off of in the movie is a lot taller than you think, and I watched a bunch of balls hit off of it, which was really cool. But no, Cam, real quick, sorry to ramble. First favorite forgotten. First that comes to mind is big all-pro number 70 that wears that ugly blue and white in Dallas, Zach Martin. He's been torching my team for too long. So big Zach, first 70 that comes to mind.
You want to hear a crazy stat about Zach Martin, Ward?
Let's hear it.
He has more all-pro appearances than holding penalties in his career.
How about that?
How nuts is that?
How about that?
College on Zach Martin. Do we know the college?
The college, I have no idea.
I think he went to Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's it. Notre Dame. Yeah. He is a Notre Dame guy.
First guy that came to mind for me was Darian Kennard. He played right tackle for the Kentucky Wildcats he played for 2 10-win seasons, 1 vacated, obviously. I think he plays for the Chiefs now. He got drafted by the Chiefs. Great right tackle. He's a 2-time All-American, 3-time All-Conference in the SEC. You don't see many guys like that at Kentucky, so Darian Kennard was easily the first guy that came to mind.
Love it, Cam. Love it. I don't remember Darian Kennard too much, and I've heard you talk about him. Favorite 70, Cam, Sam Huff, Redskins legend, number 70. Probably one of the most popular jerseys in DC. But yeah, favorite goes to Mr. Sam Huff.
There you go. My favorite is going to be Jim Marshall Award. He played defensive line on the Purple People Eaters for the Minnesota Vikings. He was a all-pro guy. I think he's been on Hall of Fame ballots. But people remember him mostly. He had a 66-yard fumble return in his career with the Vikings in which he ran the wrong way. So he picked up a fumble, ran the wrong way. The announcer's going nuts.
Interesting.
Big Jim, turn around. His teammates are trying to get him to turn around. He runs into the other end zone, spikes it for a safety. So Jim Marshall, all-pro career, but he's most well-known remembered for taking a fumble the wrong way.
Cam, hell of a pull out of your hat there, big dog. I'll give you that. But awesome. Forgotten number 70. Cam, I know we have a few big-time baseball listeners on this. I believe it's who's is it, Colby or Novak that's the big MLB guy?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All my friends are huge baseball fans. I couldn't care less.
Well, they'll know this, and the reason why I know this guy is because I play for the Giants in MLB The Show, and I always take this guy yard. His name is Bobby Miller. He started out, he's one of the fastest throwing starters in the game. He throws like 101, 102. Big old lanky white guy. But anyway, he wore 70. Now he wears like 25 or 26. But when he first came to the Dodgers, he wore number 70. So, forgotten Bobby Miller.
Cool. I love when pitchers wear like kind of obscure numbers.
Yeah.
Like 70 shouldn't be a baseball number, but I love when guys wear it.
Yeah. There's actually a good amount of baseball players that wear 72. I saw a few on that. I did some research before. Apparently 70 is kind of a popular baseball number. Some guy named De La Rosa wears 70. No, I don't know who he plays for, but he is a very common name apparently. Not a baseball pod.
Wow. I didn't do my annual search to see if any NBA players wore 70, so I don't know that one yet.
Jack might have at one point in his career.
Eric Wood is my forgotten number 70. He played tackle for the Bills, most knowingly. He went to the University of Louisville Award, but the reason I like Eric Wood is because there's a video that circulates just about every time Kentucky beats Louisville in basketball now. Their old coach, Chris Mack, he has a video where he had just beaten Kentucky, and I think the only time in his career he beat Kentucky was during the COVID year. Mm-hmm. And he was in his basement with Eric Wood, who played football. So why is Eric Wood in the basketball coach's basement? But they're both drunk out of their minds. Chris Mack is talking about the game, and Eric Wood comes up behind him and hugs him. And he goes, Kenny Payne won those games. Cal didn't win those games. Owen forever. It's what I'll post it when we put it up. But Eric Wood was drunk out of his mind. It's one of the funniest videos of all.
How about Eric Wood, man? That's a true Big Blue fan right there, Cam.
Louisville fan.
Or true Louisville. I'm sorry, I completely messed it up. That's that's the type of Louisville fans that you get right there. So
just drunk out of their minds, talking to their asses.
That's not knowing what the hell they're talking about. But awesome. Well, cool. Well, Cam, let's jump forward. I know we both have some very interesting full plate, empty stomachs. I will go ahead and start us off. I've been very excited to talk about this guy, Cam. My full plate this week is going to Austin Seibert. A lot of people might say who, but Cam, he's probably the most popular man in the DMV right now because this guy, everybody knows anything about the Commanders kicker situation. We signed that McManus guy this year. He had some legal issues, some domestic violence issues, canned him, signed this kid named Eric York, I believe was his name. He was a fourth-round pick out of it was LSU. Fourth-round pick out of LSU. Supposed to be really good. Traded for him. He went 1 for 3 in Tampa. Kicked this guy to the can. Brought in this guy, Austin Seibert, Seibert, I believe I said his last name right, on Tuesday of this week. Cam said, hey, we need you to kick for us. He's like, all right. He does not only kick for us, Cam. He has our whole team's points. This guy comes in and goes 7 for 7 for 21 points and brings Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders to their first win against the Giants since 2021 and their first win at home since 2022. So, Cam, got to be a good time to be a Redskins fan. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, me and Austin Seibert share a very similar tattoo. I don't know how many of our fans have seen my tattoos. I've got a Jesus portrait up here with 3 crosses, and he has. I'm pretty sure it's the same tattoo. If not, it's a lion instead of
Oh,
Jesus. But,
I thought you were about to throw your hands up. I didn't know what type of tattoos he had. I didn't know if he had a boxer or not.
no, I would go on record to say I'm the only person in the world who has this boxer tattoo award. I don't
Yeah.
think.
Hey, if somebody, I will say, word to the wise. If you're in the Walmart parking lot and some guy honks at you and you decide to get mad at that guy and you see a boxer tattoo on his arm, don't mess with that guy. Don't mess with that guy. So Cam, if you honk at anybody at the Walmart parking lot and they get mad, just show up your arm and do this, man. They're not going to mess with you anymore.
All right, I'll keep that in mind. My full plate award is the Saints, but more specifically Derek Carr.
Yeah.
That offense has been electric through 2 weeks. Obviously, the Panthers game, everybody was like, "Oh, that's the Panthers. They stink." You play Dallas and you hang 44 on Dallas. That's a pretty good day.
Yeah.
Derek Carr was a guy who Saints fans were calling a terrorist before the year and saying that he shouldn't be starting and it should be Rattler's job. Derek Carr's looked amazing through 2 weeks. Now we've seen Derek Carr before.
Yeah,
when
we
it starts
have.
getting cold, he gets a little bit iffy, but it doesn't get cold in New Orleans.
It does not get cold in the Mercedes. Well, now I think it's called Caesars Superdome. Now they keep that bad boy about 70 degrees, Cam.
Yeah. So shout out to the Saints, man. A team that nobody really had on the radar. They're looking like a damn good football. And I'll tell you what,
Alvin Kamara too, son.
Yeah, and in this NFL, if you average 42 points a game, you're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Yeah, not only Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara, he had 4 touchdowns on Sunday against those Cowgirls over there in Dallas. But and yeah, hey, Derek Carr too, man. As of this morning, my new fantasy quarterback that's going to torch the Baklawas this weekend. So anyway, yeah, go Derek Carr. But Cam, I left my next full plate as TBA, and because I knew what I was going to say, but I didn't want to put it on paper. My full plate this week, I've never given a team after a loss a full plate before. Giving it to you, Cam, the Kentucky Wildcats. You guys had a team that has not lost a regular season game since, I believe, 2021. Okay? Y'all probably put the biggest scare on this team since 2021, Cam. It was anyway, long story short, giving it to the Kentucky Wildcats. They did lose 12-13 to the Georgia Bulldogs, who is arguably the #1 team in college football right now. But Cam, your boys played their absolute heart out. Big Blue Nation was going crazy. The stand, obviously the fans were going wild. It was hard for me to watch the UFC fights when this game was going on. I had both pulled up. So Cam, did want to give credit where credit's due. Big Blue Nation, you guys get my full plate of the week.
Yeah, man, those guys fought their asses off against a team who had won 41 straight regular season games coming into that game. You had the #1 team on the ropes. That's always a good thing. I saw a stat, Ward, 3 times since Kirby Smart's taken over the Georgia Bulldogs have they scored less than 20 in an SEC game.
Yeah.
And all 3 are against Kentucky. I think it's 16, 14, and 12 now.
Yeah.
Kentucky's 0-3 in those games, by the way. But
anyway,
the defense was awesome. There's a lot of NFL players on this Kentucky defense.
How Keyshawn Silver play? Good?
He's good, man. He's exactly what you want from a nose. He takes up 2 to 3 blocks.
Yeah.
But you go from the South Carolina game where you got demolished to this game. They're somewhere in the middle, Ward. They're probably a 30 to 35 team. But Stoops kind of pissed me off that game. We'll get into it later, but shout out to the guys who were.
Shout out to the guys, man. Did want to give you guys that, Cam. I know you had mentioned going. I know you didn't end up going, but I feel like that would have been a good game to go to. So
would have, but you come off that South Carolina loss, you're thinking that's going to be a 56-3 game.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But Ward, I'll move into my empty stomach. My first empty stomach goes to UFC fans. These past few cards have been a tough watch, to say the least, in my opinion.
Not the first 2 fights on this one. Well, the first 2 fights on this one were electric.
Well, the prelims were electric on this one, but when you tune in, the 3 fights on that card that you looked at, that you were like, man, I'm interested, were kind of duds.
Yeah.
And you look at this champion lineup, they're great fighters, but if you just want to talk about selling pay-per-views and fun fighting styles, this might be one of the worst championship lineups in the history of the sport. Because, They're great fighters. They're great at what they do, but they're boring fighters to casual UFC fans. So,
Hey,
I
Bilal
think
Muhammad.
yeah,
Bilal Muhammad. That guy's going to sell some tickets, isn't he?
yeah. I mean, like, look at the champions outside of Alex Pereira. Whose pay-per-view are you buying if they have a championship fight? I can't name one right now.
I'm watching Islam. I'm not. I don't pull for any of the Russians, but he's just he's in a world of his own.
Look, I feel like people watch an Islam fight just for the hope of Islam losing.
Yeah, valid point. So John Jones, obviously watching him. Pereira watching him.
Aspinall, I'll watch Aspinall.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Aspinall too, technically interim. But and then DDP at 85. DDP is about to fight Sean Strickland. You know we're watching that. Bilal at 70. Not really. I mean, unless he fights that Asian Shavkov guy that's from the same town that Eric's from. Shavkov. Yeah. Him, obviously 55. Or 55. I just said Sean O'Malley. The Russian Islam. I think everybody would. Oh, I mean, most people will watch him. 45.
Ilya,
yeah.
Ilya and
Max.
Max. Ilya and Max. That's going to be a fun fight.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a very fun fight. Then obviously 35 now, Merab. Oh, no, Merab, he kind of won me over a little bit, man. Merab won me over a little bit.
I enjoy that.
Like Merab.
I enjoy those fights. I like seeing guys just kind of ragdoll big boxers, but like to the regular UFC fan, they don't like that. They want
But see, and that's what I was told. I watched this fight with Fry. The regular UFC fan doesn't understand this. Merab is a wrestler, is what he's known for. A wrestler who is 5 inches shorter than the arguably best striker in the UFC, outstruck the best striker in the UFC. I mean, Merab just single-handedly did what he wanted to with O'Malley. I mean, O'Malley, I don't know if O'Malley, the hype was getting to him a little bit or what, but, you know, O'Malley, this is Cam. I tell you this all the time. I think there needs to be a minimum. You have to defend your title 3 times before you can start looking at other divisions. Yeah. I think this is a prime example. O'Malley, 45. Ilya, 45. Max Holloway.
Yeah.
I know Merab's not the tallest guy in the world, but I mean he's a tough man. So yeah, good for him.
You know who drove me nuts in that fight?
Who's that?
Our boy Herb Dean.
Oh yeah, dude. How about the beginning of the fight, man? I have never seen anything like that in my life. I thought he didn't have a mouthpiece in. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we're talking about, the beginning of the Merab and Sean O'Malley fight. So, I don't know if any of you guys saw this, right? You know, obviously they don't touch gloves. Or no, maybe they did touch gloves. I can't remember. Well, anyway, they go back to their corners. Bell rings. They come out, and Merab is not fighting. Merab is walking the fence, screaming at somebody. And then Herb Dean jumps in and stops the fight. I thought like he didn't have a mouthpiece or something. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was like yelling at the TV because Sean O'Malley was walking him down and Merab's just not even paying attention, yelling at somebody. And then, yeah, apparently it was because of, you know, that a lot of people don't know this either. So, what's his name? Aljamain Sterling and Merab are in the same camp. They're both in Matt Sarra's camp. The reason Aljamain Sterling got knocked out, a big reason of it was O'Malley's corner was giving him direction, trying to set him up. I think that had something to do with it, I believe. Cam, talk me, what's your point of view on it?
Yeah, that's what it was. It was Sean O'Malley's coaches is screaming instructions to Merab.
Yeah.
But Herb, what drove me nuts more than anything was Herb telling Merab to work when he was on top.
Oh, I know.
Merab didn't stop, bro. He was throwing stuff the whole fight, and Herb is getting, you know, the crowd's obviously booing. They don't want to watch.
Yeah, I know, and it's just he's feeding it. Herb's the best in the business, but that wasn't a good look for him. I know he was trying to give the crowd what they want to see, but
one more thing on UFC World. What did you think of the Sphere as a venue?
I thought it was really cool. I will say, I know there's a lot of stuff around it where they're not going to go back, but I thought like overall, like the background and all that, I thought it was one of the cooler things I'd ever seen. I actually had a buddy. I'm not going to say how much he paid for tickets, but I had a buddy that him and his friends said, screw it. And they went. And they said there's not a bad seat in that house. They were taking a video of everything when the fighters are walking out, and it's like the giant green screen in the background with all the visuals. Dude, it's cool to see, bro. It's cool to see.
It was a cool. I don't know if it's a UFC venue, but it is a very cool venue.
No, I mean it's not MSG. It's not T-Mobile Arena. I thought it was cool though. It was a cool one and done kind of thing for them.
Agreed.
Special occasion kind of thing.
But Ward, go and take off your start to empty stomach.
Cool. I know we're talking. Real quick, Cam. UFC. Any other fights that you wanted to cover really quick?
I'm all good.
Okay, I think I'm all good too. That girls' fight sucked. But I'm all good on that. Speaking of girls, my empty plate this week is the UFC ring girls this week. Cam, I don't know what the UFC is trying to do. I understand it was like Mexican. Was it Mexican? I thought Mexican Independence Day was Cinco de Mayo, right?
You're asking the wrong guy.
Okay. Well, anyway, the UFC was celebrating something for Mexicans. And I believe it was like maybe Mexican Independence Day or Mexican something. I don't know what it was. But anyway, the UFC ring girls, usually UFC and boxing, I don't know, the ring girls were dressed up like robots and wearing these giant hats. I don't know, man. They looked like they were going horse racing or they were going to a horse race at the Kentucky Derby with all the weird-ass hats they were wearing. But yeah, I like the traditional. I thought they were trying to turn this event a little too much into boxing with, the ring girls and all of that. And yeah, I like just let's keep it traditional, Dana. But yeah. And then real quick, Cam, my next empty stomach is, I'm sure, Cam, are you getting 10 election texts today right now? Or is it just me? Okay. Well, if anybody is getting election text right now, it's driving me insane. I get at least 5 or 6 a day from different numbers saying, don't forget to register to vote. Don't do this. Don't do that. Like, I get it's election season, but man, come on, So, sorry, Cam.
When I get those, I just tell them that I'm not voting for who. Like, if you text me again, I'm not voting for
10-14. Ward, I'm asking for a small sacrifice. It's J.D. Vance. Stand with Trump and make a contribution. Trump, I'm voting for him. That man has more money than I do. A lot more money than I do. I think he'll be good if I don't send him $10. So, yeah.
Ward, just for reference, September 16th, 1810 was the Mexican War of Independence.
So, what the hell is Cinco de Mayo?
I don't know. You're asking.
I thought Cinco de Mayo was Mexican independence, but
Ward, I've got 2 more empty stomachs. One quick. Grayson McCall is getting an empty stomach for me.
Yeah.
He got benched to CJ Bailey, and that's a expensive benching. NIL wise. My second empty stomach is the CFL rules. Ward, I don't know if you saw this last week. In a CFL game, it was a tie football game. Team had no timeouts. They rushed the unit out onto the field. They kick a field goal to win the game, and they miss. And they win the game. And I was sitting there, I was like, how did that happen?
Wow.
CFL rules state if you kick a field goal out of the back of the end zone, you get 1 point. So he missed a field goal, kicked it out of the back of the end zone, so the team that he was kicking for won by 1 point. That is
I don't think that's how it works, Cam.
That is an awful rule. It's ridiculous. I could not believe. I was like, we're getting overtime. We're good. Like, this will be a fun game.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why I was watching CFL, by the way. But yeah, I'm like,
hey man, Western has like 3 or 4 guys that are in the CFL right now, so you got to tune in, check out the boys.
But I can't. That's the dumbest rule in sports now, officially. Yeah. That can't be a way that you win a football game.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of Western, I did want to say big win for the boys this weekend. The boys beat up on Elon. Elon was up 14-0. We came back and won. And obviously we are now 1-2. We didn't get to cover this, Cam. We kind of laid a dud against Campbell. I think we were all a little too overhyped about the state performance, and we did lose to Campbell. But back on the winning track this weekend, Cam. 1-2 for the Catamounts.
Yeah. There's a guy that plays for Elon Ward. I'm not going to say his name, but I knew him in high school. He went to a rival high school. He graduated our year, so he's 2018.
Still playing?
And he's playing for Elon.
Wow.
Brother, get a job. Like, it's time to hang it.
Does he play or does he?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't see it. Like,
if you're still playing, like, hey, I fully kudos to you, But if you're like not playing, you're riding the bench, or you're like a practice squad guy.
I'm pretty sure he's a special teams guy.
Yeah, at that point, hey, no disrespect, brother. You're playing Division I college football, but if you're 24, 25 years old, I mean, I'm not saying the NFL is not a chance, but statistically speaking, no, it's not a chance. So,
yeah, send me your LinkedIn profile, brother. As we move on, Ward, we covered UFC, so let's move on to some NFL stuff.
Yeah.
I think the biggest story in the NFL right now is Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
Put on the IR. He suffered his fourth concussion in 2 seasons, I believe. So the big question is Tua done? And if it were you, or if it were your son, or if it were your friend, which way would you push him? Would you push him towards retirement or pushing him towards coming back and playing football again?
Yeah. And, Cam, the way I think of this too is technology has evolved in so many ways. If Tua's my kid, okay, obviously he has a lot of money. The Miami Dolphins have a lot of money. Get tested. Go out and figure out if they do there's so much different brain shit out there now, man. Figure out how bad off you are. Is playing football feasible or not moving forward? I know Tua I believe he has like a young kid. I think he has like a son or something like that. So obviously, there's more to his life than just football. But with the way, I'm not saying he's done. I'm saying go out and do the necessary tests and figure out how bad off you are. And if, you need to get 3 or 4 doctors' opinions, just like Cam, I'm sure you did with your knee. I did with my shoulder. When I have one doctor tell me I couldn't play, I'm like, screw this guy. I'm going to get another, going to get another opinion. So I think Tua needs to go out. He's obviously in Miami, maybe even fly to Atlanta, go to Dallas, go to some of these top cities for doctors, meet with the best of the best and figure out where you are and then make a decision from there. What do you think, Cam?
Just on the surface, like if you don't do that, I lean towards retirement. Like he's got $170 million guaranteed. I get, this is a sport. I tell the kids I coach right now this all the time. You have to be crazy to play football.
Yeah.
You have to love football so much that you are okay putting your health on the line for a sport.
Yeah.
And to get to the top of the top, even more so. Tua is a psychopath. Like everybody that plays in the NFL is a psychopath because they are okay putting their body on the line every day to play the sport. I've had concussions. I've had bad concussions. I've had mild concussions. They're not fun. And I think, we hear about player safety all the time from the NFL and all this crap. If the NFL truly cares about these guys that are playing right now, get some guys who have played, some legends, and ask them to be candid and tell them how their life is after football.
Yeah.
I saw a story about
don't go watch the concussion movie with Will Smith.
Yeah. I saw a guy on Sports Illustrated. He wrote for Sports Illustrated Barstool. He's on TikTok now. And he was talking about Walter Payton's life after football. And he said, Walter Payton is one of the best guys to ever play football. He's a great person. But his life after football, he was miserable because he was so drugged up from all the painkillers and everything.
Mm-hmm.
He was suicidal, all this stuff. That is directly related to head injuries.
Yeah.
Get guys that have been through stuff and tell these players, I think there's going to be a time, especially with Tua now, where we see guys that, get to their second contract, get their guaranteed money and get out of football.
Yeah.
There's Mingo putting his thoughts in.
That boy Mingo.
If I was Tua's father or his friend, or if he was my son, I would tell him to retire because 4 concussions, his hands are he's seizing on the football field, Ward. His hands are doing all kinds of crazy stuff. It's scary every time he gets hit. Yeah.
Yeah, valid point. But Cam, I will say we have 15 minutes. Let's hit let's jump forward and hit some other stuff.
Cool. Bryce Young Ward got benched for
which is freaking insane, dude. I think this may go down as the Bryce Young Andy Dalton trade, or the Bryce Young and Chicago Bears trade, may go down as the worst trade in NFL history. And, I know the biggest thing for a quarterback is confidence. This guy's confidence is, probably below the ground right now, Cam. I'm not saying it's his fault. The play hasn't been there, but, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You got to have a good support system around you. I feel like Bryce does not. Cam, I want you to give your thoughts on this.
Yeah, to me, I told all my Panthers fans, every Panthers fan in the world right now is throwing Bryce Young under the bus.
Yeah.
There has been no rookie quarterback or second-year quarterback that has been more set up to fail in this sport.
Oh, I know.
Look at their team last year. They had the worst offensive line in the sport. He had no weapons. They had a bad defense. And he got killed. By the way, I hate to say this.
He's also 5'11".
You
On
drafted
paper.
you drafted a frail midget to play quarterback and take an ungodly amount of hits as a
I
rookie.
bet Panthers fans are watching CJ Stroud and just, yes,
Sick.
hey, CJ Stroud did bad on the test, man. How's he doing on the field?
Yeah, they're
And
sick.
hey, I hate to say this, man, but for all y'all Panthers fans out there, y'all still winning the division. NFC South still y'all's.
You know what? You know what?
Is the ginger gonna do it for you?
You know what? You know what baffles me though, Ward, is that these are the same fans that when it comes to Luke Kuechly and Cam Newton and Thomas Davis, they will die on a hill for these guys.
I know.
Those guys had 3 good seasons, Ward. And those same fans that die on the hill for these 3 guys are throwing a 23-year-old quarterback 18 games into his career under the bus.
Yep.
Go look at that roster, by the way, Ward. They have 10, 15 guys that would be fighting for roster spots in the UFL right now.
Yeah.
I promise you. That team is bad. That is one of the worst.
Yeah, I think the Panthers. I watched them play on Sunday, and I called my buddy Logan after, who's a big Panthers fan. I said, Logan, I don't mean this in any disrespect, brother. I do not think the Panthers will win a football game this year the way you guys are playing.
Huh.
I mean, I don't know. They got a lot of work to do.
At least they have their first rounder though this year.
Yeah, they do have their first rounder this year. And you know what? My buddy told me this too. He said, I hope we lose the next 32 games in a row. And I'm like, bro, you want your team to go 0-16 the next 2 years? He goes, yeah. So we'll trade around. We'll trade this for. He started like breaking it down. I'm like, yeah, we'll see.
Oh, yeah. I've heard it too. They think also, by the way, these fans think if they get the first pick, they're going to get the same package that they gave up to Chicago.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
That's not happening.
Yeah.
They gave up 3 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and a star receiver for the first pick. Nobody else is doing that, Ward.
Yeah.
Nobody else is doing that. But Ward, give me your week 1, week 2 thoughts on the Commanders.
Yeah, I'm week 1 obviously didn't go well. I was there in Tampa. We got beat up pretty bad. Like I told you, Cam, I told you this early. I do still think this. I think we're going to win 6 games. And this year is about developing Jaden Daniels, number 5 in the backfield. I think, not even arguably, I think Jaden's been the number 1 rookie out of this class through 2 games. He's looking really good. He's not turning the ball over, which is great. He's making good throws. I believe his completion percentage is like 82%. His QBR is 99.6 through 2 games, which is number 6 in the NFL as of right now. So I'm excited, man. I know he scares the shit out of me because he runs the ball so much. He got hit against New York, and he went down. I was like, oh, here we go, RG3 part 2. But no, man, I'm very obviously we have a lot of work on our defense is awful. For any fantasy guys, if you guys are smart, I would pick up whatever defense is playing the Commanders, because I'm sorry, I've completely messed that up. Do not pick up the Commanders defense is what I meant to say. But yeah, I feel good, man. We're 1-1. We have a huge game against Cincinnati this week, but yeah, we'll jump forward. Enough for me rambling. Let's hear about the black and gold.
Yeah, man. Super excited through 2 weeks. You know, and everybody who listens to the show knows, I wanted to be the guy at quarterback. I wanted Justin Fields to get a year, find out.
So do you think, Cam, I'm sorry to cut you off. So y'all win Sunday. When is Russ supposed to come back?
I think week 4 is his scheduled return.
If y'all are 3-0, are you benching the head of the? Yeah.
You cannot. If a guy goes 3-0 through 3 games, you say what you want about these ones. Denver stinks. Atlanta just went on the road and beat
Philly. Yeah.
And the Steelers, guess what they did week 1? They went to that team stadium, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and walloped them. They won that game fairly easily. Now, we're not scoring a lot of points. I get that. Justin Fields is not turning the ball over. He's had probably about 21 or 24 points taken off the board due to offensive holding penalties or offensive PIs.
Yeah.
He has played good football. Everybody look like if you don't watch the Steelers and you just look at the box sheet or the stats, probably doesn't look great. Watch the games. He is making the right read, the right throw every time. And I just don't think you can look at a guy who took you to 3-0 and say, hey, I get it. You did good. Russ, it's your job.
Yeah.
Russ didn't do anything in the preseason to make you think he's a good quarterback anymore. So I think this is Justin Fields' job until he either gets hurt or if he has like a game where he throws 5 picks and we lose by 25 points, then maybe you switch him out. But I think this is Justin Fields' job until it's not.
Valid point, dude. I think I haven't watched you guys too much, to be honest with you, Cam. Obviously, your defense looks damn good up to this point, but yeah, I don't see how you bench Justin Fields if you guys win this weekend.
Well, if you watch the NFL, Ward, we're shifting, we're evolving as a sport. Go look at the week 1 passing touchdown numbers. Passing touchdowns in week 1 were down by 20 to last season.
Wow, I didn't know that.
We are shifting. You see all these tight ends get drafted. You see all these, running backs are coming back into style. The quarterback play isn't as good as it was when we were, 10, 15 years old.
No.
We're shifting to more of a run-heavy, defense-win game style. And that plays right into the Pittsburgh Steelers' hands because they never went to the high-flying offense, this, that. So
they don't play in our hands either. We never went to the high-flying offense either. Our defense just sucks, and they always have sucked.
But you see injuries are up. We had this.
Dude. Everybody's hurt.
Yes, injuries are up. Mostly because this is a more physical brand of football. There's a lot of 12 personnel getting out there, 13 personnel running the football. So the sport's evolving. I want you guys to look out for it because this is kind of the first year it's happening. Quarterback play is down. That's undeniable across the league. We're moving to more of a heavy run offenses and heavier defenses again. So everything comes back in style, Ward, even in sports.
I love it, dude. I love it.
Cool. Moving on to college football real quick. Florida State and Florida both lose again. There's one win. There's one win.
Especially Florida State. Florida State wanted to leave the ACC so damn bad. You can't. I'm not going to go on this, but you still want to leave the SEC? You still want to join the SEC and play those guys, and you can't even beat us? Yeah, sit down.
Ward, have you ever seen a national championship team fall from the graces?
No. Well, I mean, yeah, I actually have. UCF did it. They're national champions.
UCF, yeah. Hey, Florida is the state of Florida.
No shit.
They are really good at claiming fake national titles and then falling off the face of the earth.
No shit.
We talked about UGA, UK. We talked about Kentucky, South Carolina. Ward, do you have anything you want to say about the first or the last 2 weeks of NC State football before we move on?
I do. Okay. Guess what, Cam? It's CJ Bailey's world, and you're living in it, my friend. Our 6'6", 4-star freshman quarterback from Hollywood, Florida, is back. He got his feet wet a little. I am scared to death to play Clemson, by the way, to go to Clemson with CJ Bailey and play them.
His first start, by the way, folks, if you don't know this,
is against Clemson, at Clemson.
Yes, a true freshman's first start is going to be in Death Valley against Clemson.
Thank God it's a noon game. Thank God it's a noon game. That's all I got to say. But yeah, man, it's and there's a reason why the spread is 20 points. I told everybody this. We have the most impatient fan base in college football. After Grayson McCall played like shit against Western, I told everybody here in Raleigh, I said, I'm telling you, if he does not have a good game against Tennessee, they are going to start calling for his job. Tennessee hung 60 points on us. I think we scored 2 touchdowns against Tennessee, and he also threw 2 picks, one of them being a pick 6, which completely ruined the game. Cam, we're not going to go into that. But we do not have a patient fan base here, man. He played awful against Louisiana Tech. They paid him a lot of money to come here. But at the end of the day, we put in CJ Bailey after he got hurt. CJ Bailey shined. He made one bad play. He had one bad interception. But other than that, CJ Bailey shined. And I'm telling you, man, the same thing happened last year. Same thing happened last year with Brennan Armstrong came in, played like shit through 3 games. They benched him for MJ Morris. MJ Morris just added a spark to our offense. And the guys want to play for him. I think these guys, there's only a certain amount of respect you can have for transfer portal guys. The loyalty isn't there. When a guy comes in, is recruited to a school, comes to a school, is fully bought into a school, when people around you believe in you, your confidence is key for any athlete. And I think CJ Bailey, they're going to install confidence in him. I'm really excited. I do not think we're going to beat Clemson, but I'm very excited for our offense moving forward.
Speaking of MJ Morris, we had that whole saga last year. Yeah. He went to Maryland, and his ass is stapled to the bench.
Oh, I know. I looked the other day. He's completed 4 pass attempts this year.
Yes. But in terms of NC State, I get what you're saying. Like, I agree. But there is no patient fan base in college football, Ward. If you start losing those games,
especially when we're supposed to be good and we're not playing good. I mean, at the end of the day, man, we are 3-1 or we're 2-1. I obviously and also too, unpopular opinion. I think Tennessee is actually legit.
Yes, I agree.
Nico is good. That team, like, they routed us. Tennessee's legit though. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to harp on State too much. We have a huge game against Clemson this weekend. Justin Alford, screw you, by the way. But we have a huge game against Clemson in Death Valley, 12 o'clock Saturday. Clemson's a 20-point favorite. We have beat Clemson 2 out of the last 3 times. Not saying we're going to beat them. I do think we're going to play Clemson a lot better than people think. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited for Wolfpack football. And I'm scared to death at the same time. Bittersweet.
I get it. So we covered NC State, Clemson. I'm not talking Kentucky, Ohio. I'm not doing that to you. Southern Cal takes on Michigan, Ward.
I think Southern Cal's going to beat the shit out of them. Michigan sucks, dude.
Michigan is not a good football team this year. 5.5-point favorites for Southern Cal. I think they win and cover. This is not a good Michigan football team.
Yeah.
You have any outlying thoughts on this game?
Not really. No. Cam, I really want to talk Tennessee, Oklahoma, if you're cool with that.
Okay,
I do want to – we'll cover everything else, but I do really want to cover this team or this. I think this is where we find out where Tennessee's all about. You know, I don't know if they go to Oklahoma or Oklahoma comes to Tennessee. Cam, if you don't mind looking that up for me, that'd be great. But also, you know, this Oklahoma team, Brent Venables, who's the former OC or DC at Clemson, he's a defensive-minded coach. He's a guru when it comes to the playbook. I can't believe giving Tennessee 7 points is a lot, man, because obviously this is Oklahoma's first big game. Tennessee, if you want to call State their first, this is Tennessee's first SEC game. This is Oklahoma's first game in the SEC, I believe, Cam, correct? So where's it at, by the way?
It is at Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's going to be I would assume they're probably going to get game day as well. It's gonna be a big game, man. I think Oklahoma's. I think it's gonna be a lot closer than people think. You know, obviously, we're gonna find out what Tennessee's made of here. Cam, what thoughts do you have?
I don't think this is a great Oklahoma team. I think they're in for a rude awakening in this SEC, and I think Tennessee's going to be the first to welcome them.
You really think so? At home?
I think Tennessee is going to blow them out of the water this weekend. I think they win by 2, maybe 3 scores in Norman.
Wow, really? Okay. I disagree with you. I do think Tennessee beats them, but if Tennessee was at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee, I think they blow them out of the water. But
I mean, you got to think the head coach of Tennessee was fired from Oklahoma as the OC when Bob Stoops was there.
Yeah.
He is notorious for running the score up. He's notorious for quick offenses. This is the best defense he's ever had since he took the Tennessee job. This Oklahoma offense is not very good. Their defense is stout, but if your defense is on the field for 60% of the game versus Tennessee, you're going to let up at least 42 points to this Tennessee team. So I don't think they can score more than maybe 28 against this Tennessee defense. So
valid point, dude. Valid point. I'm excited for it, man. This is probably the game. Obviously, State Clemson. Outside of State Clemson, this is the game I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah, I agree. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, Cam. Another game to watch out for too, dude. James Madison comes to Chapel Hill this weekend. And, Chapel Hill has kind of got off on nothing against Carolina. They're down a quarterback. They're down, I believe they're starting right.
They're down 2 quarterbacks.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. So for any of our bettors, feeling frisky pick of the week, I would look at JMU because Carolina has not – I mean, they ended up beating North Carolina Central pretty good. But at halftime, I believe they were only up maybe 3 points or a touchdown on Central. I watched a little bit of that game. You got to think Central's a FCS school. They're not even FBS. I don't know, man. I mean, Carolina has not played anybody yet. I know they played Minnesota week 1, but I don't know. That's just for anybody feeling frisky. That's one you can feel frisky about.
I like it. Ward, let's move on to NFL before we get out here real quick. Bengals, Commanders, how are we feeling about that game going into week 3 here? What do we think?
So I'm scared for us because Cincinnati is one of the better teams in the NFL. I know they're coming off a big loss, controversial loss, very controversial loss against Cincinnati or against Kansas City, which we did not cover. But anyway, Cam, Cincinnati's 0-2. So obviously I think they're going to beat us, but this is a big test for Jaden because it's a Monday night football game. First game in the spotlight on the road in Cincinnati. You know, Cincinnati has a big, like, obviously we were on the road in Tampa. That stadium was no louder than Western Stadium. Cincinnati's going to be bumping. You know, it's a primetime game. So I think I'm really excited to see. Like I mentioned, I don't think we're going to win. I think we're going to get torched. But I'm excited to see just how, you know, our quarterback comes in and how he plays against that defense and just how, you know, how he processes everything. So yeah. So anyway, we are doing a segment called Most Interesting Matchup of the Week. So we're going to pick out a couple games, break down each game. Obviously, I just broke down Cincinnati Commanders. Cam, any thoughts real quick on Cincinnati Commanders?
Yeah, I'm with you on Jaden. Like, this is a big test for Jaden.
Yeah.
I don't think you guys win this game, but
No.
I think
not after them being 0-2.
Yeah, but if you keep it within a score, like, there's no moral victories. But if you can keep it within a score, I think that you come away from that game kind of happy.
Yeah, we have 2 DBs out right now. Jamar Chase. If you guys need a prize pick, take every single one of his overs. So,
Ward, you can get JMU at 3.5 to 1 right now, money line.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the spread? 10?
10.5.
10.5. Okay.
Ward, I'll cover Steelers Chargers real quick. If you like old school Smash Mouth football, this will be the game for you this weekend, guys. We're in Heinz Field, Acrisure Stadium, I guess we'll call it.
Heinz Field.
Chargers come to town. They're going to run the ball about 25, 30 times this game. The Steelers are going to run the ball 25, 30 times this game. It's going to be a defensive-oriented matchup. But the matchup I am most excited for, Ward, Joe Alt is playing right tackle. He's going to get T.J. Watt.
Yeah.
He killed Max Crosby week 1.
Did he?
Yes. He gave Jadeveon Clowney last week his worst PFF score of his career.
Wow.
I'm excited to see. I mean, Joe Alt,
I remember what he did to Chase Young. Boy, he not a good look for Chase Young against that guy.
This hype train is building up for Joe Alt. We're going to see if he's worth the salt this weekend. We're going to see when he goes against the best in the game what happens. So, TJ, I'm calling you out. Don't let this rookie fucking steal your
Yeah, never mind. I got Joe Alt mixed up with what's the guy that got drafted in the Chargers draft day. This was 2 years ago from Northwestern. What was that guy's name?
Man.
You know who I'm talking about, though. I got him and Joe Alt mixed up. Yeah. That guy's good, too. But anyway, Cam, I'll jump into my next game. First, break real quick. Steelers-Chargers. I know I only have like 1 minute. Real quick, Steelers-Chargers. I think this is when we find out who's legit and who's not legit. So, winner of this game is going to be, I think everybody's going to know is legit. Losers of this game is going to be like, you know, brought back to earth. But, Cam, really quick, Cowboys-Ravens. Very interesting matchup. Ravens are 0-2. Cowboys are 1-1. Cowboys just got the shit beat out of them by New Orleans. Ravens I don't see them falling to 0-3. I also don't see the Cowboys falling to 1-2. So, very interesting, man. What do you think about this?
What, are we calling for a tie officially?
No, not calling a tie. I just want to hear your thoughts. I think the Ravens win this game, but
I think the Ravens win. I think they're a more physical football team. I think the Cowboys
in Dallas too. So
I think the Cowboys have a bunch of soft, tough, fake tough guys on this team. I think the Ravens are going to kind of physically punk them. I don't know if the scoreboard will say that, but I think they will out physical the Cowboys. I think their defense is good enough to hold, you know, Dak and co. I think the Ravens win this football game. You were also talking about Rashawn Slater, by the way.
Slater, yeah, that's it, Rashawn Slater. But yeah, hey Cam, I got to run. You're more than welcome to finish this up. I get the recording. So
all good. Cool. Just remind everybody real quick: YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Instagram, TikTok @Fat Katz Pod. That was episode 70. Appreciate you guys.
Peace, boys.
As always.